8.3, right triangles, and technically we call them special right triangles because the same rules seem to keep applying over and over again. And this little triangle says, never argue with a 90-degree angle. It's always right. Okay, anyway, back to the math. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the length of the hypotenuse is square root 2 times the length of a leg. So you take the leg times square root 2, you get the hypotenuse. So let's put that into your notes this way. If I want to get from the leg to the hypotenuse, I'm going to take it times square root 2. X times square root 2. Now you probably won't have x, you'll probably actually have a number. Also of note that you should be aware of, see how I have the congruency markings here? That means I have an isosceles triangle. 90 degrees has already been used up here. So if this is the only marking I have, then I need to understand that this is truly a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And if that's the case, it's an isosceles triangle. If one leg is x, then the other leg is also x. Now my hypotenuse, because I multiply by square root 2, is x square root 2. Please do not write square root 2x, because then that radical sign, where does it end, where does it begin? We always write that out front. Otherwise I'm going to count this wrong. Okay, now let's go the other way. If I want to get from the hypotenuse back to a leg, then I will have to do the opposite. Divide by square root 2. We don't write divide like that. We write it like this. X divided by square root 2. However, you must never leave a radical in the denominator. Oh no, we can't have that. So how do I undo that, or how do I rectify that situation? I take both the numerator and the denominator times square root 2. So now I have x square root 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is just plain old 2. That's what I'm looking for there. My side length is x square root 2 over 2. Same with this side because it's an isosceles triangle. So I have x square root 2 over 2. That and that are the same. All right, let's work it with some actual numbers because that'll make you feel better. Find the value of a. So here I have 8. I want to go from the hypotenuse back to a leg. So I'm going to take 8 and divide by square root 2. In order to leave my answer without a radical in the denominator, I multiply the numerator and the denominator by square root 2. Remember, this value is actually 1. So it's 8 square root 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is just 2. But wait, you can't leave your answer like that. 8 over 2 reduces. Oh yeah, that's 4, isn't it? So my answer is actually 4 square root 2 for the value of a. Oh, and yes, it's isosceles, so the other side is also 4 square root 2. In example 2, we're going to go the other way. We have the leg, which is 6, and what do I have to do to find the value of b? I have to multiply it by square root 2. So here I go, 6 square root 2. Done. If you need to, what's the other leg? 6. All right, they're not all going to be that easy, but it gives you the setup that you're going to follow. Okay, 30, 60, 90, a little more involved with these. The length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of the shorter leg, and the length of the longer leg is square root 3 times the length of the shorter leg. La 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 la. Let's actually take a look at this. This is my way of saying this. I will say short side, and I abbreviate it often SS. This is what I call my long leg, and I abbreviate that LL. And then, of course, I have my hypotenuse right here. Okay, so I will often say long leg, short side, and hypotenuse. Here I'm starting with my short side. Okay, that big right up there at the beginning of this, how do I move around this triangle? My short side is half of the hypotenuse. I would write that out. Short side is half the hypotenuse. This is one of those things where if somebody were to write a song or a rhyme or a catch or some cute way to remember this would be awesome. I haven't done it, and feel free to do that. So if this length is half the hypotenuse, then don't I have double the hypotenuse of this? So shouldn't that be 2x? Long leg is square root 3 times the short side. Okay, so I'm going to take x times square root 3. That's my long leg. Keep it moving. So now I'm going to go, if I took the short side times square root 3 to get to my long leg, to come back around this way, I'm going to divide by square root 3. But wait, I can't leave my answer with a radical in the denominator. Oh no! So I have square root, oh I should put my x first, x square root 3 over 3. Okay, so that's what, can I circle that, draw my arrow? And my hypotenuse is twice the length of my short side. My short side is half my hypotenuse. So I go the other way, I've got to multiply it by 2. So to get up here, I multiply by 2. So if I do that, all I do is put a 2x square root 3 over 3. That's crazy. Okay, most of the time we'll have numbers, so the x's are probably actually our toughest thing here. All right, my short side is half my hypotenuse. So I take this and I divide it by 2, or I can write x over 2, or 1/2 x. And then my long leg is square root 3 times the 1/2 x. So I'm going to take 1/2 x times square root 3. Let me write that a little neater. How about square root 3 with an x out front and the 2 in the denominator? Even better yet, let me show you something with some numbers. Oh, 4 square root 3 over 3. They want us to find the distance from Q to R. Whoa. Okay, so I'm going to go from my short side to my hypotenuse. We have to be able to identify all of these sides here. And my short side is half of my hypotenuse, so my hypotenuse would be twice as much as this. So I have to take 4 square root 3 over 3 times 2. And that gives me 8 square root 3 over 3. Because this is like 2 over 1, top times the top, bottom times the bottom. Just for fun, because I know this is going to be a tough section, I'm going to take this and come around here and show you 4 square root 3 over 3 times, remember what I do? Short side times square root 3 gives me my long leg. So 4 times square root 3 times square root 3 is 4 times 3 over 3. Oddly enough, that's going to cancel. Or you can say 12 divided by 3 is 4. Either way you work it. My long leg has a measurement of 4. Okay, find the value of BC. So now I have to find my hypotenuse. I can't go directly from my long leg to my hypotenuse. I have to work through the short side. It's just basically set up that way. That's the way we go about it, all right? There's a way to get there directly, but it would be something I don't even want to get into. So to go from my long leg to my short side, I have to divide by square root 3. So I'm going to do the math over here. 4 divided by square root 3. Nice! It cancels out. So my short side is 4, and my short side is always half my hypotenuse. So I double it up, and I get 8 for my hypotenuse. And that's the end.